And we're back here. It's WrestleMania weekend, and I'm with the one and only Daniel Bryan. I guess for you, the first thing is last year you had to do the retirement thing, and you came back. You're the GM on SmackDown. I know it's hard for you because you want to wrestle. We all know that's what it is. But like, are you able to have fun with it? Because it seems like on Talking Smack, how do you get away with the stuff that you get to say in Talking Smack?
I don't know. I don't have a good answer for that. But I don't know. I think one of the things is that, especially with the network, one of the things that the WWE lets you do is they let you have a little bit more free reign, and because they want interesting content, right? They want stuff that might not just be like, hey, this guy doesn't toe the company line, but it's interesting and people like watching it, so we're going to let him do it, that sort of thing. So.
And the stuff with you and Miz, in Talking Smack specifically, it seems like he very much pushes your buttons, and you can't tell sometimes when you're watching whether it's genuine emotion or you're playing a character or whatever. Are you proud of that work that you guys have kind of done together? Even though it's not wrestling, but it is a story that you guys have been telling, and people are very invested in it.
So I'm not going to say that for example, I'm not going to say I'm proud of it. I think one of the things that is interesting is that the dynamic between The Miz and I, people are interested in it because we really do push each other's buttons, right? And so and that we each have, I can acknowledge this about myself. I can be wrong in a lot of the things I say about The Miz, but I know how to push his buttons, and likewise he knows how to push my buttons. And so sometimes we just push each other's buttons maybe a little too much for what the WWE would like, but I think the fans enjoy it. So I don't know. Sometimes it's more than I would like to, but and here's the thing is that he's just a better talker than I am. So he's better at
I don't know, you hold your own.
Yeah, kind of, but I can also acknowledge that hey, there are certain people who are better at certain aspects of this than I am, right? Miz is a better talker than I am. John Cena is a better talker than I am, but Miz is not. He's a level below me. It's a wrestler, right? And so those are things that I can acknowledge, and that we openly argue about what's more important and all that kind of stuff. So, it is what it is.
You say a lot of things in Talking Smack that I think fans feel. You're almost a voice in some ways for fans. You kind of poke a little fun at Goldberg being in the main event or something like that. How do you feel though about WWE? There is a reliance sometimes on part-time guys or whatever, but you seem to really be fighting the cause for the full-time guys. Is that because you've been in that position?
Yeah, absolutely, and so I feel their frustrations, and it wasn't always like this, right? And I know that for us my vision of the company is different than the people that are above me's vision of the company, right? So to me, I want to be able to main event WrestleMania with two full-time guys. That's going to be the main draw of the show. When you look at when Rock and Austin were main eventing WrestleMania, right? They were both full-time guys, but they both seemed like such big superstars that you could do Rock and Austin as the main event of WrestleMania. I think sometimes the way that we build our talent, it doesn't put them at a superstar at that level, and then we bring in part-time guys and we make them seem more important than our full-time guys, and that's frustrating for me. But you look at somebody, for example, to me, Dean Ambrose is a perfect example of that. Dean Ambrose has been main eventing almost all the live events since we did the draft. And so he was doing that, and then now here he is at WrestleMania, and it's a good match. It's an Intercontinental title match with Baron Corbin, but I would have liked to have seen him get a featured spot. He's worked so hard all year and been really carrying the brand, and so that sort of thing rubs me the wrong way when I see people who have worked so hard not get their just due at the biggest show of the year.
And the very last two things, do you think Randy and Bray get the main event spot?
I have no idea. It'll be interesting to see. What I hope is that when they go out there, that they put on a killer match, and that it's fun and it's interesting, and that the show ends up being great for the fans.
Last thing I need to ask you is the awkward question, but everybody wants to know: when your contract is up with WWE, would you consider staying on and doing this kind of stuff, or is it one of those things where it's well, if you're not going to let me wrestle, have you thought about that yet and what you might do?
Yeah, so it all depends on how I feel my health is and how my wife feels my health is. If we feel like my health is good, I love to wrestle and I'm going to go wrestle. But if we think that at that point that it's not good, then we'll see what happens.
So maybe you would come to WWE at that point if you were in good health and say, look, I want to wrestle. It's your call. Either let me wrestle, I might go wrestle somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's like, I understand why they won't let me wrestle, right? It's a liability thing. It's also they're trying to protect me and that sort of thing. But there's good reason to believe that I should be able to wrestle and that sort of thing. So we'll see in a year and a half what happens.
And I want to wish you all the congratulations in the world for your baby coming at the end of April. It's been Daniel Bryan. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed our WrestleMania coverage. Stay tuned for more interviews, clips, news updates, and much, much more. Also, stay tuned to our Twitter @inside_the ropes for more of what we've got coming up in the future.